Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video because it's been a highly requested one. Now, as you guys know, I can talk about this for absolutely days and weeks because I feel so strongly that so many handmade business owners are just severely undercharging and they don't know how to price their products. And I think that is because when we are talking about pricing, we strongly link that to our worth as a maker, our worth as a business owner, and our worth as an entrepreneur, right? And as a creative. And I think that is so wrong. I think that a lot of the time, handmade business owners, maybe they're new to kind of business, they're new to all of this online stuff, and they just really struggle to price their products. Now, that's the kind of first thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, is that linking pricing our products with our own worth. And really the very first thing we need to understand is that we need to unlink those two. The very first thing that I wanted to discuss, to talk about within this video, is exactly that, unlinking the worth versus the pricing. Listen, now, I know that, there are so many people out there that are saying, if you charge less, you're going to get more orders. And as we know, and as we've tested within the Facebook group, I'll leave the link for that below. That is just completely not true, right? That is just completely the complete opposite of what happened, okay? So that is kind of the first thing that I want you guys to know. And a lot of you guys watching this might be new to my channel. If so, hello, welcome. And a lot of you guys may just be starting out and you're like, I just do not know how to price my items. Like, how do I even do this? So the very first thing that I want to say about this is that we all have our comfort zone, okay? And we all have comfort zone gremlins, okay? Now, if you've read my book, I talked a lot about this within that. So if you want that, the link is in the boxy box below. But one thing I really wanted to say was that we all have our comfort zone in terms of pricing, right? So when we're looking on Etsy, when we're looking online, we are just doing like a little bit of research, dipping our toe in, having a little look and kind of just gauging where everybody else is, right? And you might be saying, well, Steph, I sell lip gloss and like lip glosses are like $1. So is that what I should charge? Is my business never going to be like high end because I can only charge that? And the answer is no, you can charge whatever the heck you want. That's the bottom line. And we are going to talk more about that later. But I want you guys to kind of just consciously acknowledge that you have that bracket of I can charge from this to this because of whether, what you've had in your mind when you first started your business, what you've seen online, all of that type of stuff. Now, with regard to our comfort zone when it comes to pricing, the mistake that I've made in the past as a coach, and I'm going to be raw and honest with you, it was a mistake, was that I just said to you guys, double your prices, triple your prices, just go and do it. Just literally just go and do it. And what tends to happen with this is that you'll kind of be like, oh, okay. You do it. And then like the next day I'm like, how's it going? And it's like, oh, well, I actually changed it back because you've pushed yourself too far. And that comfort zone gremlin is like, come back, come back. I can't do a gremlin voice, but you get my point, right? It's like, come back, come back. And it pulls you back into your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is like this bubble of stuff that you're comfortable with. And when it comes to our business, we all have this pricing within our comfort zone that we think our items are worth and that we're happy charging. If you push yourself too much outside of that comfort zone too quickly, then what's going to happen is that you're going to be like, you're either going to panic and drop your prices back down immediately, or you're going to panic and put a sale on. Or when you get a sale at that price, you're going to be like, oh my God, and you're going to sabotage it, or you're going to cancel it. And I've actually seen this happen. Or you're just going to give so much free stuff in that shipment to the customer that you're just not going to make any money, right? So what I'm going to say is the trick with this is to gently push your comfort zone. Gently, gently, gently. This month, raise your prices by £2, $2, whatever. Next month, do it by 4. Month after that, do it by another 2, so it's 6, and just gently push yourself outside of that comfort zone, okay? Do it slowly if you feel like you don't want to push it too much. Now, if you're having a complete rebrand and your business is pivoting, then feel free to make those massive jumps, because that is a fantastic time to do it, or when you're first starting out, okay? The second thing here is I really want you guys to understand, I want you to like imprint it in your mind, okay? Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean it's easy for others. I'm going to say that again. Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean it's easy for others. I see so many makers who say, you know, this thing only takes me, like, for example, this, which is a wildflower pot that I bought from a craft fair yesterday. This thing takes me like 20 minutes to make. So I want to pay myself £10 an hour, so I'm going to charge like £5, right? This, as it stands, was £12, and that was undercharged. In fact, when I bought it, I was like, girl, you need to raise your prices, because this is absolutely beautiful, and the effort that you've put in and the idea that you've put into this. Anyway, I digress. As you can see, even on my days off, I'm still preaching this. But just because this takes you 20 minutes to make doesn't mean that you are charging £5, £10, whatever. I want you to disassociate how easy it is for you to make versus what you're going to charge and what this is worth. Okay, so just because it takes you 5 minutes to make that Canva template doesn't mean that someone else, if they were to do it, it might take them 3 hours. But regardless, it doesn't mean that you have to charge 5 minutes worth of time. The more you are making pottery, the more you're making Canva templates, downloads, jewelry, whatever it is, the more efficient you become and the less time it takes you to make these things, okay? So why are you like passing that saving onto the customer by saying, well, it doesn't take me very long, therefore I'm going to charge less? It doesn't make any sense, right? Not from a business standpoint.
Bosses, we've been having some really great conversations in today's video. However, I'm here to tell you about this. This is called your conversion rate, and I've actually made for you in the description box below a free 90-minute conversion rate masterclass. So I'm just going to quickly explain to you in 1 minute why this is important. Okay. So this is your Etsy shop and these are your customers. So let's say that you get 100 customers into your store and you have a 1% conversion rate. That means you get one sale, and roughly that's going to be about $30 to £30. But what happens when we increase that conversion rate to 2%, 3% and above? This suddenly doubles, triples, quadruples without you having to change anything. Now, getting customers into your store costs time, effort, and money. But what if you didn't have to change this, you didn't have to change your shop, all you had to change was this conversion rate? That is what I'm going to be teaching you in today's masterclass. So whether you're a newbie or a seasoned Etsy shop owner, get yourself down below and register for that masterclass so you can increase this number. Back to the video.
So I want you guys to just like know that just because this is easy for you to make, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy for me to make. If I was going to make this, I'd have to go to a class where I could rent a wheel, and I'd have to learn like how on earth to like do this. I'd have to learn about glazing. I'd have to learn about, I don't even know anything about pottery. It would take me probably 2 weeks to make this. £12 for 2 weeks worth of work for me is just not enough. Okay, so the third thing that I want to kind of lead on to this, from this, is what transformation is your customer getting from your products? And I want you to base your pricing off of the transformation and the size of the pain point that your customer has. Now, bear with me, I'm going to explain this more. Well, I want you to price based off of that. So to explain this, I'm going to start off with an example. So I had someone who makes hair bows for children for weddings. I mean, let's just talk about how amazing that niche is. I love that. I love how specific she is, and she's very successful. Okay. And this person was like, Steph, I just don't know how to price. I don't feel aligned. Something doesn't feel right. I'm not making much profit, and I'm just like spinning my wheels trying to do this thing. And I said, okay, right, let's talk about it. Okay. So I said to her, okay, so explain to me what you're pricing your hair bows at right now. And she said, well, I'm pricing them at £5 each. And I was like, okay. I said, why do people buy your hair bows? And she's like, well, I kind of already told you, like, it's brides who have a flower girl or a little bridesmaid that wants to kind of pretty their hair up, you know, want to just get a little bow, make them look really cute in the pictures, like, that's it. And I said, okay, I get that, I do. And I can see why that surface level problem would equate £5 worth to you. But I said, what if we go a little bit deeper? And I said, what is the real value? What's the real transformation that they're getting from your hair bows? She kind of sat there for a bit and was like, well, I don't really know. And I said, okay. I said, so what would it mean if the bride didn't have your hair bow in her wedding day, in her life, okay, on that very important day? And she said, well, I guess that means they'd have to kind of pay someone to come and do their hair. And that's like, what, £50 a head usually for someone to come and style the hair? And I said, for sure, yeah. And I said, so let's say, for example, then, that they don't have a hair bow and they get their hair styled. What tends to happen during the day at weddings when it comes to kids? And she said, well, they usually like running around, rolling around outside, playing, getting their hair messed up. And I said, okay, aha, right, we've hit it. So the transformation from having your hair bows is that they're going to go from being worried about the photos and what the flower girls are going to look like, whether they're going to look neat and tidy, and also worrying about kind of reining them in to make sure they behave themselves, which, you know, could equal some tears, could equal some tantrums, okay, could equal some unhappy bored kids, versus just letting them do their thing and being able to sort out their hair with a brush of a hairbrush and just a replacement of this bow. And I said, how much is that worth to a bride to have one less thing to worry about on her day? Or even like the mother of the flower girl or the bridesmaid or whatever. And she was like, wow, okay, I get it. And I said, so why are you charging £5 for that privilege? The transformation is so much bigger than just a hair bow. Now, when you guys first heard me say hair bows, you're probably like, oh, please, Steph, like, you can't, like, it's not a transformation. But the bottom line is it really is. And that's what I'm going to, like, say to you guys to do, which is to look at your product, look at the pain point you think you solve and go just one layer deeper. And that one layer deeper is all it takes, okay? So price based off of the transformation and the size of the pain point, okay? The very last thing is I want you to include buffers, okay? So I'm going to go through just 4 with you. There are some others depending on whether you do wholesale and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to include an oops charge. And that is essentially if, you know, we're all human, if we're a little bit under the weather one day or we're not quite feeling it or we're tired. You know, when those days when you make something a little bit wrong, you send it out or you make a mistake and the customer contacts you and says, actually, this isn't quite the right thing. You're like, oh no, I have to lose my profits on this now. I've got to either refund them or resend it. You're already building that oops charge into every order that you send out. Now, I'm going to say that all of these things your customers don't know about. It's already built in. They don't even know. Okay. And this is how successful businesses will still make profit, even if they have mistakenly done something wrong. Okay, and the same comes with an issues charge, which is, let's say that a customer, like you've done everything right, so it's not an oops charge, but let's say that the customer is just not very happy with the item, and they're just like, oh, this is smaller, this is a slightly different color, and they're just being really difficult, and you end up saying, I'm just going to refund. That is where an issues charge comes in. So let's say you get like 1 issue per like 50 orders. Build like 10 cents, $1, whatever it is, into all of those 50 orders in order to make up for the cost that's going to happen inevitably, because as we know, it's going to happen later on down the line. And you might be saying, well, Steph, that's not fair. Like, why do customers have to pay for something else? Well, what's the difference between adding on a bit of extra money for an increased packaging cost or shipment cost versus an oops charge. There isn't really much difference. And if you're undercharging enough as it is, then increasing your prices a little bit is not going to make that much of a difference, and you don't need to feel guilty about it. All you're doing as a business owner is being sensible and building in your costs, no matter where they come from. You're building your costs into your pricing. Does that make sense? The next thing is packaging. I know you guys have hidden packaging costs that you haven't accounted for. Every bit of ribbon, every bit of bubble wrap, everything to the penny, to the cent, I want to know exactly what that is. So make sure to make a list of everything you use when you package your item. The last thing is as well is that I want you guys to build in a charge for if you're wanting to run a sale. Okay, so if you're wanting to run a sale, then let's say that you want to boost your sales, or they're a little bit slow, but you want to run a 10% off sale. Why should that eat into your profits? So include that sale buffer within your product pricing. So guys, I really hoped that helped you. Don't forget to get your free place. If you want more Etsy sales using 3 quick, simple, easy steps, and you want more Etsy sales fast, then don't forget to join my webinar. The link for that is in the box below. But for now, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like, tell me in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway from this? What was the moment that you were like, oh, okay. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more like this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.